speaking of man-made things, Riles, credit to you here. This is a self-made topic that we decided.
We're going to start right off with that.
We're going to start off big, my guy. So you had a glorious idea of, hey, what if we talked about, when it comes to comic book characters, one thing that we would like to change about some of these characters, and
ideally to make it better.
Ideally to make them better. Yep. Ideally to make them better. And so we're starting off fairly simple, or at least well known in terms of, hey, can other people know who these characters are? Of course.
Our favorites.
So Batman, Spider-Man. One thing that we would change, ideally, to make them better. Mm-hmm. Now, are there any parameters you want to set around what that thing could be before we dive into it?
I less parameter, more like, I think we stick with the comic book side of things, because eventually we can go down the road where we're like, I wish they would have done this differently with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Okay, we don't want to do that. All right. We're going to stick with the comic book because that is the origination of most characters.
See what that can. Okay. Great. Great. I just want to make sure I wasn't going to, sway out of bounds immediately.
Because we want outside of the box thinking here.
Okay, no wrong answers, and I can't wait to give my wrong answer. Therefore, you go first.
Oh, okay. Which one? Here's the question. Do we want to start off with Spider-Man, or we want to start off with Batman?
Start with Batman.
We're going to start with Batman.
Yeah, definitely start with Batman.
This is going to be a hot take.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to start right off with the hot take.
Great, let's hear it.
So, my whole thought process is I want the Joker gone. Remove the Joker. So, in theory... Batman under the Red Hood, at the end of it, Jason Todd kills the Joker instead of letting him live. So that would be what I change. Because I would like to see who takes up that number one spot.
Sure.
Does Batman's life actually get better with the Joker gone? Because this dude's out there killing everybody, gassing everything, just making life a living hell. Right? I mean, you look at Jim Gordon, and all the stuff he's had to go through with Barbara and himself.
Quite tough.
Like the Killing Joke. Essentially, right? And I would rather
read. I remember reading that like 2 decades ago. It still has messed me up. When the author has actually since then said, I really wish I didn't write that. Like, that's really not my favorite work.
I watched the movie.
Oh.
That was my introduction to it. Like, I knew what happened in it, so I knew what was going on. But, the movie ripped it straight out of the comic. Like, it was very... scene for scene, fantastic. And it's Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. So, brilliant movie, except the first 25. Ignore that, because it has nothing to do with anything. And they have this weird, will they, won't they? Well, not will they, won't they, because it happens with Barbara and Batman. It doesn't make any sense at all. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so I think you have to stay away from Batman being the one killing the Joker in this scenario, because I think it changes his character too much. And you have like a Batman who laughs situation, because we've seen what happens when he does kill the Joker, and then essentially the Joker wins. I think it's better for Jason Todd's character to be the one to do it, because it's like the coup de grace for him, and then he just, it's over. Like his whole So anyways, that would be my decision, is to get the Joker off. I want to see who takes up the mantle of Batman's number one villain, and just see how Gotham breathes without the Joker.
And we've discussed this, and this is not a hot take. There is a tremendous rogues gallery when it comes to Batman. And so if you can get the Joker out of the way, it does open up the playing field for all of these other really worthwhile characters to participate and have more room. And we've seen that in the comics. I mean, I'm thinking of the 0-year run where the Riddler really took Batman the task, and it wasn't contrived. It wasn't isn't this a bit of a stretch here? It was tremendous. And so get the Joker out of the way, and it's pretty remarkable what great things can happen from a storytelling perspective.
Well, and I feel like whoever's writing Batman is always the Joker's gonna show up at some point. Right? And I would like to see what they would do with him being off the table. Right? Because it forces you to get creative. It forces you to do different things. Like, I just read Death of the Family, and that was the second, arc in the New 52.
Right.
And you go from Court of the Owls, which is a mind-blown kind of a thing, because it's Batman discovers this whole
new set of villains.
Correct.
And they previously not even whispered of. genuinely original
nursery rhymes were made in the.
It's incredible.
The ether.
Yes.
Yes. of said universe. So you're just like, oh, this is brilliant. And then they go straight to the iconic and probably the most twisted with his face cut off and restapled back on.
But my least favorite comic to look at. Good story, but I hate looking at it. Just part of reading comics.
But yeah, you have Batman like thinking about like letting Joker die.
Yep.
And you're like, would he actually turn if he just let the Joker die?
Mm-hmm.
Would Batman be like, oh, we're going to kill everybody?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
But I would rather still not have that in his hands of him being the one to kill him.
Yep.
So, yes, that is my decision.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Great take. Great take. Love it. Mine is this. I wish that it was not that big of a deal if Batman were to kill people. And furthermore, that he just freaking would. And that when he did, because here's my thought process. How scary can the Batman actually be when you know, as his opponent, you're not going to die? You could get very badly hurt.
And you
no
do.
question. And you do. But no matter what, like, he won't kill you. So that should just make your gloves come off all the more. So what if he actually did kill people? But here's the thing. It wasn't this gruesome. It couldn't be a flat out, hey, someone's murdered on the street and Batman did it. That wouldn't work because then the police would have to actually go after him. Okay. So we're getting into the realm of this is even more unbelievable. But what if when he killed people, they just freaking disappeared? Like they're just gone. So in other words, it wasn't like publicly known that he had killed this person, that he had killed this adversary. The Joker just disappears. The Penguin just disappears. Scarecrow just disappears. And all of a sudden, you start connecting the dots, but there's enough of a sliver of doubt here in the minds of his adversaries where they start going, wait a minute, there's not a coincidence that his biggest enemies just disappear with no shred, no hope of them ever being found again. I think that would be extraordinarily impactful in its own way. Now, it's not kill everyone all the time, of course. Of course not. We're not the Punisher here. But pick your spots. That's all I'm saying. I'd love to see what would happen if that were the case.
In a sense, he almost becomes even more of a boogeyman.
Right.
Because you've always seen him be like, oh, we can't be out past a certain time because Batman will come.
Yep.
And then it's just like, oh, this is when parents start telling their kids, like, hey, don't steal because Batman will just eat you.
Think about, like, if you're the cops, he is still the perfect partner for the police. There's no crime to solve. Missing person, no one actually wants to find the Joker. No one actually wants to find the Penguin. You know what I mean? Like, there's not this public outcry of, oh, darn it, this is really eating us up as a community. We need to find this person. Of course not. They're just glad the person's gone. I think it makes his character that much more just visceral, even divisive, a little more complex. I would absolutely love it.
So who would be his breaking point then?
I mean, it's easily the Joker.
Joker's the first one to be gone off the board?
Easily.
Yeah.
Because he has been the most catastrophically violent of all of Batman's adversaries. And his motive is just to sow chaos and do it through the most harsh, fatal means possible. Every other villain that Batman has, to a certain extent, wants to just outwit and outsmart Batman, and the folks that die along the way are collateral damage. The Joker is going, hey, I'm all about the collateral damage. Let's make the collateral damage the thing. Actually, let's just take them all out. So I don't think there's any question that the Joker is the first piece off the board.
So you think he just goes slowly through the rogues gallery?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually everyone's just gone?
I just think he decides, hey, when it reaches a certain point, when this person is this much of a threat, they're just toast. They're gone. They're going to get disappeared. That's what I think. Like now, here's the pitfall of my idea, okay? Eventually the story of Batman has to end because
right.
it's is gonna go after him. They're gonna be like, well, this sucks. Okay, I guess we're out. But if you're going to do here's what I'd say. If you're going to do maybe even an alt take on how does the Batman story end, this is how it ends. Eventually he just decides, I'm gonna kill some people. I think what gets me a little bit hard for me to believe in the Batman comics is it's constantly presented as, well, if he just kills one, he's afraid he's just going to start killing everybody. I don't see that as being part of his character. I don't think it's fine that they play it out in the Batman Who Laughs. That's great. It's a compelling character in its own right. But I think there's a very believable path where it's like, no, he doesn't kill everybody. He doesn't just turn into a murderous Punisher version. I don't think that's... I think he is able to see and maintain that his clarity amidst the opaqueness of the situation.
I do think it would be cool just to see that be taken off because I imagine John Wick on steroids with Batman.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where John Wick is just a killing machine until finally someone else takes him out. And it's mainly because he's already exhausted from killing a shit ton of other people. But like just to even have like a glimpse of it being gone, like that barrier or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just to have it unlocked and be like, let's see what you can do.
Yeah. I think it'd be more compelling if he could mirror it, right? Where it's like, hey, and maybe the alternate take to my take is maybe it's more of a posture of, listen, if it so happens that the bad guy dies, okay, but I'm not going to go out of my way to deliberately stop them from dying. Like, and here's what's really, you know what I mean?
And he's done it a couple of times.
Well, and here's what's really funny, because I know we're talking comics, but I'm going to use a movie example. In Batman Begins, he literally says, I don't have to save you, to Ra's al Ghul. It's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I don't have to save you. Okay, you killed him.
Yeah,
all right?
essentially.
You killed him.
Yeah.
He's dead. But then in the very next movie, in The Dark Knight, the Joker's about to fall to his death, and he's like, nah, damn it. Shoots with a grappling hook and saves his life. It's like, wait a minute. What? Just, you don't have to save him.
Well,
say the same line. Let it be the end line of every movie. I have to save you.
I honestly, it reminds me of a couple other like Batman instances because I remember in like mainline comics.
Yep.
KG Beast.
Yep.
Shoots Dick Grayson in the head. Doesn't kill him, but he becomes Rick because comics. Anyways, I remember like seeing like the panels of when he finally gets his hands on KG Beast again.
Yep.
And he pretty much just leaves his body broken on like a mountain where it's snowing and stuff. And he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but deuces. And he just leaves. And KG Beast is like, wait, you're going to leave me? And so, which I think is way worse because your body's shattered.
Right.
and in the cold, and you're like, oh, I'm dead. Like, it's just a matter of time. And I think it does say later, like, Batman had somebody come pick him up. But like,
I hate that, though. It's like, listen, yes.
It was either that or he knew, like, a helicopter was coming by or whatever. But, like, the moment you're like, oh, damn.
See, I think more of that would be lean into it. That's great.
And I remember, too, like, not the first Injustice 2, in those comics, he, all his Robins are pretty much off the board, right? Dick is dead. Yep. Damian's an asshole and is with Superman. Jason Todd is out doing Jason Todd things. He actually gets Tim Drake back, and immediately Tim Drake just dies in his arms because Zod just laser beams him through the chest.
Just seen it coming.
And then you just see Batman just lose his shit, gets the Justice Buster and beats the crap out of Zod. Like it's an annihilation. So you're just like, he can do it.
Yeah.
But, like, the amount of control that he has is insane.
Yeah.
But I almost would rather die than be like KG Beast and just battered and bruised and just begging for death.
I just wish, like, that would be more of his, that they lean into that as his MO. Like, where he's going to leave the adversary completely shattered, and it's going to take a miracle for them not to die. And maybe some of them don't. but some of them do.
Yeah, because you do get that with Daredevil too.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil's very close to that as well. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna do that with Batman, you have to be very like selective with your choices on who he takes on. I like Joker's obvious like
right.
1-2 punch, like get him off the board.
Yeah.
But like then you have to think of like that's where you have to establish
the street
the line.
level characters.
Right.
Like, it would be those that are a couple notches above and beyond.
Like a Grundy, trying to figure out how to keep him dead.
Yeah.
Because he's already that I guess that is a cop out because he is dead already. But
like a Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze would be tempting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I definitely get it.
There you go. There's one thing I would change with Batman. Great topic. Great take.
Yeah.